The great hall of the Orion Interstellar Academy was alive with quiet chatter. Sunlight from 3 different stars poured through the glass ceiling, casting strange patterns on the polished black floor. The Academy was the pride of the galaxy, a place where the brightest students from dozens of species studied side by side. Today's lesson was different. It was a cultural exchange day where students could ask each other anything about their HOMEWORLDS dot in the center of the room. The tall, green-scaled alien student Sharon shifted in his seat. His large golden eyes studied the small group of humans sitting together. Finally, with a curious tilt of his head, he asked, "So, what is Earth really like?" The words seemed harmless, but the reaction was not. The room grew still. Conversation stopped. Claws, tendrils, and feathered hands froze mid-movement. The humans didn't answer right away. They exchanged glances, quick, loaded looks that no alien could quite understand. One of them, a tall young man with short black hair and calm gray eyes, leaned back in his chair. His name was Liam Carter, and he had a reputation for being polite, but never wasting words. A faint smile touched his lips. "It wasn't warm. It's not what you think," he said slowly. "You won't like the answer." A ripple of amusement passed through the alien students. A bird-like student with bright blue feathers gave a light chirp of laughter. Another, a heavy-set reptilian from the desert world of Karth, rumbled, "What could be so bad? You humans are from a temperate world, yes? Forests, seas, mild weather?" Others joined in, chuckling, picturing postcard views, green mountains, white beaches, calm skies. Even Sharon gave a small, confused smile. "We've heard it's beautiful. Many say it is peaceful." Liam's smile didn't change, but his eyes were colder now. "It can be beautiful, and it can be peaceful, for about 5 minutes at a time." The aliens laughed louder this time, thinking he was making a joke. The human girl sitting next to Liam, Maya Torres, didn't laugh. Her dark eyes watched the aliens carefully, like a predator waiting to see if its prey understood the danger. Jaren tilted his head again, his curiosity growing. "If it is not peaceful, then what is it?" Liam leaned forward, resting his arms on the table. The playful atmosphere of the room began to fade. His voice was calm, but each word seemed heavier than the last. "We call it a death world." Silence fell instantly. The laughter stopped. A few alien students shifted uncomfortably. The phrase was known in the galaxy. Death world was not a casual term. It was used only for planets so hostile, so lethal, that most intelligent life avoided them entirely. One of the smaller aliens, a fur-covered mammal from the gentle world of Praelis, let out a nervous squeak. "That must be an exaggeration. Surely your people do not live on a true death world?" Liam's eyes met hers. "We do. And there's a reason why." The alien professor, an elderly being with 4 crystalline eyes, leaned forward from his desk. His tone was cautious. "Explain, Mr. Carter. What exactly do you mean?" Liam sat back again, but his voice didn't lose its weight. "On Earth, everything can kill you. The weather, the animals, the plants, the ground you walk on, even the water you drink. From the moment you are born, you are in a fight to survive. Every second, every day." The alien students glanced at each other, unsure if they should believe him. Sharon frowned. "But that is impossible. Our worlds are balanced. Life and environment exist in harmony. The galaxy's ecosystems adapt to protect intelligent life, not destroy it." Maya finally spoke, her voice low. "Not on Earth. On Earth, the environment doesn't care if you live or die." The room was colder. Now, the tension was a living thing. Liam could see their doubt. He knew they didn't believe him yet. That was fine. They would. He leaned forward again, lowering his voice so the room had to grow still to hear. The galaxy calls us fragile, short-lived, weak, and yet we're still here. Do you know why? No one answered. Because Earth taught us to survive what would kill you in seconds. It shaped us into what we are. And if you still think it's a safe, gentle world, you're about to learn otherwise. The last sentence hung in the air like a warning. A quiet shiver seemed to pass through the class. Sharon's golden eyes narrowed. His earlier smile gone, Liam's gaze swept the room one last time before he said the words that ended the discussion and began the real lesson. We call it a death world, and there's a reason why. The lights above flickered once, as if the academy itself didn't like what was coming next. The silence in the classroom was heavy, as if the air itself had thickened. Every alien eye was fixed on Liam now, even the professor, who usually kept a strict rule about not letting students dominate the lesson, leaned forward with quiet interest. Liam tapped his fingers on the desk once, slowly. "Let's start simple," he said. "Weather." A few aliens blinked in confusion. "On most of your worlds," Liam continued, "storms might be inconvenient. Rain soaks your fur, wind blows your tents, maybe a little flooding. But on Earth—" He paused, letting the room hang on the words. "On Earth, storms can erase entire cities in a single night." The feathered alien from Crestus, who had earlier laughed, shifted uncomfortably. "Erase? How?" "Hurricanes," Maya said, speaking for the first. "Time in minutes." Her voice was steady. "Walls of wind and water hundreds of kilometers wide. They rip apart steel buildings. Lift ships from harbors like toys. The ocean itself comes onto land and drowns everything." Gasps echoed through the room. One alien muttered something in their own language. The translator didn't even catch the words. Liam nodded toward Maya. "That's only one type. There are tornadoes, columns of spinning wind so fast they can throw an entire vehicle into the sky. Blizzards that freeze you solid in hours. Heat waves that can kill thousands in a week. And earthquakes." The crystalline-eyed professor interrupted softly. "We have tectonic movement on my world as well, but it is rare and gentle." Liam's faint smile returned, but it was colder now. "Gentle is not a word we use. When the ground moves on Earth, entire mountains shift. Cities crumble, bridges fall. The ground opens and swallows buildings whole." One of the smaller aliens, a young reptilian, leaned forward nervously. "Surely your people avoid such dangerous places?" Maya gave a short laugh, but there was no humor in it. "We live on them. We build cities on fault lines. We farm near volcanoes. Some of our biggest ports are right in hurricane zones." "Why?" Sharon asked, baffled. "Because danger is everywhere on Earth," Liam said. "If we ran from it, there would be nowhere left to go." The room was so still that Liam could hear the faint hum of the Academy's air filters. "Weather is just the first thing trying to kill you," Liam said. "Next comes the wildlife." A few aliens brightened at this. The galaxy loved stories about exotic animals. They expected this part to be about colorful birds and graceful ocean creatures. Liam saw their anticipation and cut it down. "Some of you have apex predators," he began. "On your worlds, they're rare. Maybe a few species. But on Earth, every ecosystem has dozens. And not just on land." Maya's voice joined in, low and precise. "In the oceans, sharks can smell blood from kilometers away. In the rivers, crocodiles wait under the surface for weeks, moving only to strike. In the jungles, snakes can swallow a grown human whole. And in the grasslands, lions, leopards, packs of wolves." Jaren frowned. "Predators exist everywhere in the galaxy. We are trained to avoid them. What about the ones you can't see?" Liam asked quietly, A chill passed through the room. On Earth, Liam continued, there are things smaller than a grain of sand that can kill you. They live in water, in the air, even on your own skin. You can't outrun them. You can't fight them. They enter your body, and you're finished. Viruses, Maya said simply. Bacteria, parasites. An alien with gills along his neck recoiled, his tendrils curling inward. You live with such things. Around you always? Liam met his gaze. Always. We can't destroy them all. We can only adapt. Our bodies fight back every single day. And sometimes they lose. No one laughed now. No one even shifted in their seats. The humans' calm voices carried more weight than shouting ever could. The professor cleared his throat, but it was hesitant, almost respectful. Yet, you thrive. Your population is vast. How? Maya looked at Liam. Liam looked back at Maya. Then he answered, because Earth doesn't care if we survive. It never has. So we learn to make our own luck, to fight, to endure. Every human alive today is the result of millions of years of surviving a planet that tries to kill us in 1,000 ways. He leaned forward slightly, his eyes sharp. You? Call us fragile. But the truth is, you've never met a species that has been tested like we have. The room stayed silent for several long seconds. Then Jaren spoke again, his voice quieter now. If all this is true, then why are humans so willing to leave Earth, to travel the stars? Maya's gaze turned toward the far window, where the light of the Academy's 3 suns glimmered on the glass. Because out here, we can breathe without choking on ash. We can walk without worrying the ground will open beneath us. Out here, we can rest. But we never forget what home taught. U.S. Liam's voice followed hers like a shadow. And if the galaxy ever forgets, Earth will remind them. The last sentence lingered like an echo. No one spoke after that. Even the professor decided to end the session early. But as the students filed out, Jaren stayed behind, still staring at the humans with a mixture of respect and unease. He didn't know it yet, but his curiosity had just opened. The next day, Jaren could not focus in any of his morning classes. His mind kept replaying the humans' words from yesterday. If the galaxy ever forgets, Earth will remind them. What did that even mean? Was it a threat? A warning? Or just human pride? By the time the cultural exchange class came again, Jaren was already in his seat, claws tapping the desk nervously. The humans entered together, Liam, Maya, and a few others, calm as if nothing had happened. When the lesson began, the professor wanted to move on to a new topic, but Jaren couldn't hold it in. He raised his hand. Professor, he said, voice sharper than intended, I have a question for the humans. The professor hesitated, then nodded. Proceed. Jaren looked straight at Liam. Yesterday, you told us about storms, predators, and invisible killers. But those are natural dangers, random events. What about the worst thing your species has faced, something that nearly ended you? The room went still. Liam's smile faded. Maya's eyes narrowed slightly. None of them answered at first. Finally, Maya spoke. You don't want to know. I do, Jaren pressed. If your planet is truly as dangerous as you say, tell us the most dangerous event in your history. Liam leaned back in his chair, his gaze fixed on Jaren like a hunter sizing up prey. You're asking about extinction events, he said quietly. Fine, let's talk about one. The aliens around them shifted uncomfortably. There was a time, Liam began, when Earth froze, ice covered much of the world. Crops failed. Animals died. Temperatures dropped so low, even the air itself felt like knives in your lungs. Maya picked up the story. We call it the Ice Age. Entire species vanished. Food was scarce. Our ancestors were small, weak, compared to other predators of the time. We should have died out. Liam's voice darkened. But we didn't. We learned to make fire. We hunted creatures larger and stronger than us. We made clothes from their hides. We built shelters from their bones. We turned the very monsters that should have eaten us into tools for survival. A large, fur-covered alien in the back shifted uneasily. You killed your predators for warmth? Liam met his gaze. We killed everything we had to, and when we couldn't kill it, we outlasted it. The silence was heavier now, the kind that pressed against the chest, but Jaren wasn't satisfied. That was long ago, he said. You've advanced now. Surely. Nothing threatens your species anymore. Maya's eyes flashed, not with anger, but something colder. You think danger disappeared? It only changed shape. She leaned forward, her voice dropping to a near whisper. We faced plagues that wiped out millions in months. Wars where our own weapons could destroy entire cities in seconds. Disasters we created ourselves, and still we're here. One of... The avian students tilted her head, feathers ruffling. But why survive such pain? Why keep going if your world tries so hard to kill you? Liam's answer was simple. Because stopping means losing, and humans don't like to lose. The professor finally spoke, his crystalline voice trembling just slightly. You make it sound as though death itself cannot break your people. Maya's lips curved into a faint smile. It can break us. It just can't stop us. The words sent a ripple through the alien students. Not applause, not cheers, but the quiet realization that the humans were not boasting. They were simply stating a fact. Jaren felt a knot in his stomach. This wasn't just about storms, predators, or even ancient ice. This was about something in humans themselves, something forged in endless struggle. He wondered what that meant for the galaxy dot, because if they could survive Earth, what couldn't they survive? 2 days later, the Galactic Academy hosted a multi-species training exercise. It was supposed to be safe, just a simulation in the Academy's huge holodome. Students would work together to survive a hostile environment for 1 hour. Jaren arrived early, his mind still spinning from the humans' words. The other alien students chatted excitedly, some making jokes about Deathworlders, and how maybe the humans would finally be out of their element. The simulation brief was simple. A dense jungle with aggressive wildlife, unstable terrain, and unpredictable weather. Teams were randomly assigned. By pure chance, Jaren found himself paired with Liam, Maya, and 2 others, one reptilian, one insectoid. The moment the holodome activated, the world around them shifted. The air grew thick and hot. Strange insect calls echoed in the distance. The ground was wet and soft, sinking under every step. Jaren's nostrils flared. Even though it was fake, the smells were so real he could almost taste the rot of the jungle. Stay close, Liam said immediately, scanning the surroundings. Jungle means ambush predators, and watch the canopy. The reptilian student rolled his eyes. It's just a sim. Nothing can actually hurt us. Maya didn't even look at him. That's when people get killed first in these things. They moved through the thick undergrowth. 10 minutes in, the ground ahead suddenly collapsed, revealing a deep ravine. The insectoid student shrieked as he slipped on the edge. Jaren froze, but before he could react, Liam lunged forward, grabbed the insectoid's upper arms, and hauled him back with a sharp, practiced motion. You okay? Liam asked. I think so, the insectoid stammered. Jaren's mind raced. The reaction had been instant. No hesitation, no panic. They kept moving. The jungle noises grew louder, stranger. Then something huge moved in the shadows. Red eyes blinked in the dark. Contact, Maya said softly, drawing a simulated energy. Blade. The creature burst from the brush, a six-legged predator with serrated fangs. It was fast. Too fast. The reptilian panicked and fired wildly, missing every shot. The beast pounced, knocking him to the ground. The sim was programmed to disable anyone fatally struck, ending their participation. But before the predators, teeth closed, Liam slammed into it from the side, using his own body weight to roll it away. He didn't try to stand and fight. He went straight for its eyes, driving his blade into its skull. The predator's body dissolved into digital mist. Liam stood, breathing hard but steady. Move. There will be more. Jaren stared at him. This wasn't just skill. This was something deeper, an instinct to throw himself into danger without thought for his own safety. As if survival was more important than anything else. Minutes later, the jungle's weather shifted. Heavy rain poured, turning the ground to mud. The wind howled. Visibility dropped to almost nothing. The reptilian, now pale with fear, slipped again, this time sliding toward a rushing river that had appeared from the rain. The current looked strong enough to drag him under. Before Jaren could shout, Maya was already there. She dropped her weapon, grabbed a vine, and dove in after him. She fought the current like it was an old enemy, wrapping the vine around the reptilian's chest before letting the others pull them both back to shore. By the time the sim ended, only their team was still alive. The other groups had been picked off by the jungle one by one. When the lights of the holodome returned, the alien students were quiet. No one was joking anymore. Jaren glanced at Liam and Maya. They weren't bragging. They weren't even smiling. They just gathered their gear and walked out as if nothing had happened. The professor's voice echoed in Jaren's mind. It can break us. It just can't stop us. Now Jaren understood. The simulation might have been fake, but the human's instincts had been real, and that was far more dangerous than any predator in the galaxy. It happened 3 days after the simulation. The Galactic Academy was buzzing with activity, classes, training drills, cultural exchanges. Everything felt normal. Until the alarms went off. The sound was sharp and urgent, unlike the usual. Practice tones. The lights along the hallways shifted to red. Every student's unit lit up with the same words. Emergency. Section 7. Evacuate immediately. Jaren was in the middle of the mess hall when it happened. Plates clattered to the floor as students looked at each other, unsure whether this was another drill. Then the ground shook. The reptilian student from the simulation stumbled in, eyes wide. It's not a drill, he gasped. Containment. Breach in the xenobiology wing. Something escaped. Panic swept the room. Some students ran toward the exits, shoving past each other. Others froze completely, unable to move. But Liam and Maya didn't hesitate. They were already moving, not away from the danger, but toward it. Jaren called after them. Where are you going? The breach is that way. Liam glanced back, his voice calm. Exactly. They sprinted down the corridor, dodging frightened students and fallen debris. Jaren hesitated for a second, then followed. The xenobiology wing was chaos. Doors were smashed open. A thick, acidic smell hung in the air. Alarms blared as emergency shutters tried and failed to seal the section. Through the broken glass of one lab, Jaren saw it, the escaped creature. It was huge, with armor-like scales and jaws strong enough to crush steel. Its movements were erratic, as if both injured and enraged. A group of alien security officers fired stun weapons, but the creature barely flinched. One swing of its tail sent 2 officers crashing into a wall. Without waiting for orders, Liam darted to a control panel. Maya, draw it left. Maya didn't argue. She grabbed a metal rod from the floor, slammed it against the wall to make noise, and ran toward the far side of the lab. The predator turned, locking onto her. Jaren's chest tightened. She was putting herself between the monster and the others. Liam's hands flew over the control panel. Sparks shot out, and an old mechanical gate screeched as it began to lower. "Now, Maya!" he yelled. Maya dove through the narrowing gap at the last possible second. The creature lunged after her, but its head smashed into the gate just as it slammed shut. The predator roared, trapped inside. The sound was so loud it rattled Jaren's bones. Security officers quickly moved in to reinforce the seal. Immediate danger was over. Only then did Jaren notice something. Liam's arm was bleeding from a deep cut. Maya's uniform was torn and scorched. But neither of them complained. Neither asked for thanks. They just exchanged a quick nod, as if this was nothing unusual. One of the security officers approached. "You too could have been killed. What were you thinking?" Liam shrugged. Someone had to slow it down. Jaren stared at them, remembering every word from the human story about death worlds. On their home planet, danger wasn't rare. It was constant. It had shaped them into something the rest of the galaxy couldn't fully understand. They didn't freeze. They didn't wait. They acted. And as Jaren followed them back through the quieting corridors, he realized something that sent a chill through him. If humans were this dangerous when protecting strangers, what would they be like protecting their own? The emergency had passed, but Jaren couldn't stop thinking about what he had seen. The way Liam and Maya had moved in the simulation was impressive. The way they had moved in the real emergency was something else. There had been no hesitation, no fear, just action. That night, he found himself wandering to the human dorm section of the academy. The lights were dim, and the corridors were quieter here. He spotted Liam outside, sitting on the steps with a bandage wrapped around his arm. For a while, Jaren just stood there. Then he walked over. "Why?" he asked. Liam looked up, confused. "Why what? Why did you run toward the danger? You could have died. That thing was stronger, faster. It wasn't even your problem." Liam leaned back against the wall, his eyes thoughtful. "Jaren, you ever seen a wildfire?" Jaren frowned. "No. It's fire that spreads across the land. Fast. It kills everything in its path. If you stand there thinking about weather, to act, it's already too late. Where we come from, everything is like that. The animals, the weather, even the planet itself. We had to learn fast. We had to move fast. Or we wouldn't be here." Jaren's spines tingled. "So, it's true. Earth really is a death world." Liam gave a small, humorless smile. "Yeah, but that's not the part that scares people." "Then what does?" Jaren asked quietly. Maya's voice came from behind them. She stepped into the dim light, her gaze fixed on Jaren. "It's not that Earth tries to kill us every day. It's what that's made us into." Liam nodded. "We don't wait for orders. We don't panic when things go wrong. We don't back down just because the odds are bad. Because where we're from, if you do any of that, you die. And so does everyone you are trying to protect." Jaren swallowed hard. "But here in the galaxy, things aren't like that." Maya's eyes narrowed slightly. "Not yet." The way she said it made Jaren's stomach twist. Liam leaned forward, his voice almost a whisper. "You asked why no one should set foot on Earth. It's not because the planet will kill you. It's because if you hurt what's ours, we will." For a moment, no one spoke. The quiet hum of the Academy systems filled the silence. Jaren finally understood. The danger of Deathworlders wasn't their planet. It wasn't even their strength or speed. It was the fact that, after surviving a lifetime in hell, they had become something even worse than the things that hunted them. The rest of the galaxy thought of humans as new, weak, or primitive, but Jaren knew better now. He also knew this. If war ever came to the galaxy, he hoped with every cell in his body that the humans would be on his side.